So I guess I'll talk in the meantime. But like the
Uh-huh.
first shot is the Xavier School for the gifted and talented, and like they keep going back to this exact same school over and over again, and like
It's like
all the
one.
Marvel.
It's like once you make a joke about how often the house blows up, I feel like you got to stop blowing up the house.
I know.
Something's coming. Something we may not be able to deter.
Like Patrick Stewart is just in his chair. Is like, oh God, what did I sign up for?
They've killed this guy at least 3 different times in like twice in the Fox X-Men universe and once in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's like,
hey, they've gotten very efficient at killing Sir Patrick Stewart.
I mean, my lord, this guy has more lives than cats at this point.
Before this day is done, we shall be faced with an unthinkable decision.
And
I've fought with many warriors in my time. They were far stronger than all of us put together, and they died. They died.
I just gotta, Jesus. It's like, so you remember when Wakanda Forever won an Oscar for its costume design? How much it looked so much of the authentic like Mesoamerican culture. It's like,
right,
my boy, look how they colonized my boy.
Yeah, it's a real downgrade in terms of like art direction, especially in the Wakanda scenes. But I like how Chris Hemsworth is like really trying to sell. Oh man, Doom is a super bad guy, and he's really coming for us. But like, we don't know anything about Doom. It's like hard to get it's hard to get dreadful of Doom when like at least Thanos we saw a couple of times and
I'll get to that on my thoughts, but let's just
They died facing enemies and threats that scared me far less than this one. Everything that they sacrifice will be for nothing if we do not stand together. Put aside your petty squabbles. Presume nothing except this. If you return, you will return as brothers and sisters. But mark my words. We're going to need a miracle.
Hey, pal.
It's not possible.
Yeah. You feel anything?
I feel that Dune Part 3 is going to be great. That's how I feel.
Yeah, like all I felt after that whole trailer was so Dune Part 3 comes out in December 18th, right?
Yeah, well, Dune Part 3, I mean, I'm biased about Dune in particular, but with this movie in particular, I just, I've been out of the Marvel stuff for a while, aside from paying attention to Spider-Man, because like he's like its own special category to me. But like I just feel nothing because, like, I don't know who Doctor Doom is in this universe. I don't
Mhm,
know why I should care, and
mhm,
the fact they're playing so coy with the whole Robert Downey Jr. angle on it makes me feel it's just gonna be a gimmick the more and more I think about it.
mhm. Yeah, and you hear his voice in the trailer, which, okay, that's cool, I guess, but, the big tragedy of this is, like you were saying, we don't know this character of Doom. We're being told that he is this, like, super powerful, super, like, multiversal ending threat, and this is the first time that we've ever met him. With, the Infinity Saga and with Thanos, we got, like, almost 6 years of buildup with him from the end of the first Avengers. And, even if it wasn't, like, explicitly the road leading to him, they found a way to make it work. And we got to spend time with all of those characters. We got to spend time in multiple movies with at least our 3 main, core of the Avengers team with Cap, Thor, and Iron Man.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, that's
now it's just, okay, we've gotten another Thor film, which had nothing to do with this. We've gotten fuck all
mhm.
leading to Doctor Doom because you explicitly set up the Kang Dynasty, but of course, because of Jonathan Major's court case, you had to pivot.
Right.
And now it just feels like you're jingling keys at me. It's like I should be more excited because I'm seeing characters I love growing up fighting each other on screen. I'm seeing Shang-Chi, who was one of the actual like great movies of this this post Endgame era, and this is the first time I'm seeing him. Why is he fighting Gambit, and why should I give a shit? And why, for the love of fuck, is everything looks so dour and gray and colorless?
Thank you. I am very tired of blockbusters looking so washed out in their color grading, and I get they do that because of special effects, but at the same
Ugh.
time, light a scene properly, guys. But back to kind of tying back more to the substantive stuff. You you are absolutely right that I kind of feel like this whole multiverse saga has been a real failure of like
Mhm,
character dynamics and development because like you've said, you spent substantial time with all three of the major Avengers, and even
mhm,
like the Avengers adjacent people, like Guardians of the Galaxy or Hulk
mhm,
or Black Panther or any of those kind
mhm,
of things. We've only had one movie with the Fantastic Four. We've had one movie with Shang-Chi,
mhm,
okay, two movies with Yelena and Black
mhm.
Widow, but like I don't really know or care about these character dynamics because they've been so scattershot all over the place that it's hard
Yeah,
for me to like really care.
yeah, and the moment I think the moment I knew that this wasn't going to be good, besides the, casting Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, which that character is too awesome in comics to be relegated just for a bit of nostalgia slop casting. And the
Mhm.
moment I knew that, I knew. I just know deep down in my core, and I hope I am wrong come December 18th, that this isn't just cinematic jingling keys, throw slop at the screen and hope it sticks, is the moment they announced Steve Rogers coming back.
Yeah, to me, it was the one-two punch of Robert Downey Jr. and
Mhm,
Chris Evans coming back because it's like it just reeks of desperation. I'm
mhm,
sorry. I mean, I like Chris Evans as an actor.
mhm,
I think his hair and beard look really cool in this movie, to be quite honest. But
mhm,
like, I don't understand why they're there from a purely narrative perspective.
mhm. It is kind of funny that they that Thor doesn't believe it, so he gives him the two-factor authentication.
Right.
That's like the one. It's a moment that should work. I should feel something about it, but ah,
Yeah, it's just really hard to care when like the character
it's just
relationships have not been set up properly.
it, it's it's nuts, and we'll get into it with our next with our next trailer. But seeing a franchise that I was there day one for, that I was there, if not opening night, opening weekend for most of the movies since they started in 2008, and to see it
Right.
kind of go out on this just flat and embarrassing note with Doomsday. And I might be wrong. I'm praying to everything that I am wrong, but I am not confident.
Well, yeah, neither am I. I mean, the one thing I will say that I don't know how much of a glimmer of hope this is, but like the next movie is Secret Wars, and they're
Uh-huh.
basing it on the Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars story that they did in 2015, which it admittedly is a pretty thematically interesting
Mhm.
comic book series. But like comic books are a vastly different medium than film
Uh-huh.
is, so I don't really know how that story can really translate into like real world scenarios. But yeah, I'm totally in agreement with you. It's
Yeah,
just kind
it's
of it's sad.
it it's nuts that the once king of the comic book genre, and the trailer for their big like new epic film, the one that's going to bring them all together, is getting mogged by like a 10-second clip of Batman turning around in the snow. it's like
Well,
it's like it's like you look at that and look at this. It's like there's both of them have a fairly dark color palette, but there's intentionality in the frame. You can see it, like it feels like it's on a real set and not just on the fucking volume.
Matt Reeves is so good at cinematography. My
No,
lord.
it's not Matt Reeves. It's even a different cinematographer from the last film, but it's the same
Right.
one who worked on The Killer from David
Oh,
Fincher last year,
okay. Well,
or a couple years ago.
Let me rephrase
Huh.
that. Matt Reeves is so good at directing how to set up scenes and light compositions and stuff
Mhm.
like that, and it just looks
Yeah,
so
and
rich
yeah,
and
and
interesting.
we can't, yeah, and we can't talk about it without talking about it got delayed again, and the cinematographer is Eric Messerschmidt, who who won the Academy Award for shooting Mank.
Oh, okay. Those are
Mhm.
really good
And also shot
credentials.
The Dog Stars for Ridley Scott, Ferrari for Michael Mann, also The Killer as a before mentioned, and also shot Adventures of Cliff Booth, also by Fincher.
So he's got a good team. He's got a good team working on the
Uh-huh.
Batman Part 2, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
will endure the wait.
yeah, and part two, it's also co-written by Mattson Tomlin, who wrote one of my favorite one shots for DC Black Label with Batman the Imposter. And
Oh,
I'm curious to see if that gets some love in the script by Matt and Mattson, which for it's kind of nuts that it's 7 years in between the Batman part 1 and part 2, but when it's quality like that, quality on par with or hopefully better than the first one, I'll wait. See, Marvel, that's the key. A little patience.
well, and plus, like, you gotta let people like miss something.
Uh-huh.
Part of the reason I'm so excited for the Batman Part 2 is
Mhm.
I love Batman, and two,
Uh-huh.
it's been admittedly a pretty long time since the last one.
Mhm.
So like, I'm
So
anticipating it. I
so
can't.
so long that Robert Pattinson decided to go on an all-time actors run.
God, like he's I mean, him and Christian Bale, like as far as like are probably the best actors who have ever played Batman at this point.
And it's like and Sage, it's Avengers Doomsday is even getting mugged by Marvel with X-Men 97.
I know. I mean, I don't even care for X-Men that much. And like that trailer is hype as hell.
And the show's great too. I'm the newest episode. I'm not all the way caught up yet, but it's been gas.
Yeah, I mean, and all the clips I've seen online, the animation is spectacular in that show just all the way through.
Mhm. And just to get to final thoughts on Avengers Doomsday, it's like I want to be excited for this, but I also look at that date and know that yeah, my money is going to Dune Part 2.
Yeah, I can't in good faith watch
Dune Part 3,
Avengers
excuse
when
me.
yeah, no, I can't in good faith watch Avengers Doomsday when Dune 3 comes out the same
You know what?
day.
If
I'll
you know what?
watch it
If
eventually, but
You know what? If I have to, because we usually do the new movie reviews on either Friday or Saturday. You know what? I'll watch Doomsday first, so I can get the vegetables out of the way, so I can get to
oh,
the to the like savory surf and turf that is going to be Dune Part 3.
You mean the movie that is probably going to be my favorite movie of the year?
Get to my gourmet 5-star meal.
You know what? Hell with it. I might do the same thing, to be honest.
Yeah, just yank that Band-Aid right off.
But yeah, I don't really have much to say about Doomsday except
I hope I am wrong. I hope that come December I'm not as pessimistic, and I hope it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's good just for the sake of everyone involved, because like it's never fun to be in a bad movie, but I'm not confident in it.
But moving on to our next trailer, one that I have a lot more confidence in. I put in the description of the stream, it's like Battle of the Comic Book Slop. I'm only mostly referring with that title, I'm mostly referring to Avengers Doomsday, but we also got, some potential Kino here with DC Studios Clayface.
Show me. Show me.
With this kind of setup, the joke, I think, because so many movies have done the horribly disfigured man, like with season 2 of Punisher, but he takes it off and the scars just made him look hotter.
Right. Well, there's only so much you can do when you're trying to appeal to people and stuff like that.
but yeah, moving on.
What do you want, Mr. Hagen?
I want my life back.
I know you. You're famous.
Yeah, it's like, I know you're kind of stunned looking at the frame right now after watching the Doomsday trailer. We call that color.
Yeah, we call that, scene composition and frame composition, folks.
Yeah.
Boo. I'd like to volunteer for human trials.
This isn't cosmetic surgery.
Even if it kills me, I'll be better off than I am now.
You sure about that?
I highly doubt that's true, Mr. Hagen. Just letting you know.
It's like a song choice that could be corny, but the editing really makes it work. Yeah, it's like I often roll my eyes at kind of the slowed down pop song in the horror trailer, but when it works, it works.
Well, they gotta get around those record rights by having the slow cover of the pop songs.
It's like I'm just waiting on the when eventually DC Studios does the Scarface movie, the like puppet, and it's just a slowed down horror cover of Man-Child. Man-Child.
Boy, don't give these trailer house ideas.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't stop giving out gold.
What?
I'm okay.
You okay?
I'm okay. I feel great, actually.
I have no idea what side effects you'll have or how to treat them.
Sir, the seatbelt sign is on.
We're in unknown territory.
Ooh. Oh boy.
What's happening to me?
Like,
If you're harboring...
yeah, it's like looks practical effects. It looks gooey and gross without, being too gory, which I imagine this movie is probably going to end up with an R rating. I don't think it's been rated by the MPA yet, but yeah, it's like, okay, this is I'm digging the vibes of this trailer so far.
Me too. I really like the focus on practical effects and just like how weird and gooey his face looks. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's a different kind of effect that we get in body horror, because with stuff like The Substance or stuff like The Fly, there's like these gross things that are coming out and protrusions and flesh twisting in ways that it shouldn't. And here we're kind of getting a different kind of body horror with that. And the effects, at least from what we're seeing, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, and it looks like it has some proper gnarly parts. Like, I
Mm.
know he's on the airplane and it's like turbulence and everything.
I didn't even think about that. Andy's got to like cut open his eye.
Yeah, you know that
Let's
there's
go.
gonna be a good money shot with that setup for sure.
Feelings of anger, you need to let them go.
You want to know how I feel? The people I trusted betrayed me. The justice system failed me. They stole my career, my money, my life.
I'm a monster.
I have no idea who you are.
Okay, let's go.
I agree. I mean, it kind of looks like it's taking the baton that Joker started with and just really running with it, hopefully in more like interesting places than Joker did. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
and
think this looks pretty cool.
yeah, Joker, it felt like a movie that was, and I don't Clayface shouldn't be mogging an Avengers movie, but here we are.
Hey, it's seating and
It's called-
it's scene and light composition.
And also establishing a dynamic that an audience can root for and support, because especially with the Matt Hagen story that they're going for with this, because the movie is inspired by, I think Mike Flanagan said this in an interview, it's inspired by the Feet of Clay episodes of Batman the Animated Series.
And the mudslide episode as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and also I think Clayface, One Bad Day, that one-shot comic by I think it's either, let me look it up real quick. But Neil, what are some of your thoughts on the trailer while I look this up?
My thoughts are, I think this is a really fascinating looking movie. I think that the whole body horror angle with a character like Clayface is a very inspired idea. And, we've seen DC kind of do spin-offs with their villains with Joker and Penguin and kind of transport these characters into like sort of niche genre films. And I think this is a really inspired idea. And I think the trailer just kind of is selling me more and more on it. I think it'll be really neat to see. And I think the inspirations for
and
the
Clayface
Batman episodes are really apparent.
Yeah, and the Clayface One Bad Day one shot that I mentioned, that was written by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing. And that is, I think, if because there was like this weird period of DC Comics where Clayface was like a part of the Bat family.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
that is that is something that is a road that they could go down. But I think I was having this conversation with a friend of the show, Bradley Martin from oneofus.net. He's been on our show a bunch of times, and I like made a joke offhand, is that this mogs what Sony tried to do with the Spider-Man villain movies. I just love to see it. And yeah, that conversation of why does this work when something like Madam Web or Morbius or Kraven the Hunter doesn't? And I think it's because those movies were too afraid to let their protagonist be the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
There was always like a sense of, yeah, we have to like make this the hero of the story, which those characters, it doesn't really work that often. But with Clayface being a horror film, you can have that. You can have that kind of tragic backstory and also create a character you can have sympathy for, but also be horrified by their actions.
Well, and those Sony Spider-Man villain movies, they were trying to have their cake and eat it too, because like They wanted to have more like Morbius and Kraven the Hunter, like be villains, but also be heroes at the end of the day. Like
Mhm.
Venom, that you can get away with that because they've done that in the comics. There's more of a template to follow with Venom, but not with Kraven the Hunter or Morbius. And with Clayface, I like that they're not even like attempting to say like, oh hey, he had this weird thing happen and he's gonna become he's gonna become a hero now. It's like, no, this is very
No, it's
clearly
like,
like a
yeah, this
body horror film.
yeah, and also they kind of spell it out in the trailer. It's like, yeah, if you have any like feelings of anger or resentment, you got to let those go. It's like this guy's an actor who, got his face and career disfigured and, stolen from him. You think he's going to be able to let that go?
No, of course not. And yeah, I like some of the visual storytelling because like he goes into this theater, the Vesuvius, because
Mhm,
Mount Vesuvius, volcano eruption. So
mhm.
interesting kind of layers of storytelling going on in this trailer, in addition to all the body horror stuff.
Mm. Yeah, and I like that we're not seeing what his final look is going to be because I think Gunn in an interview said that this is the same Clayface that's in the DCU proper. This is the same one that we see in Creature Commandos.
Oh,
Mhm,
okay. That's cool. Yeah, I'm glad we don't see it because like you
mhm.
don't want to give away the good stuff.
Yeah, and I've still had this on my most anticipated for since basically the beginning of the year since this got announced since because it's written, or at least the original screenplay was written by Mike Flanagan, who's one of my favorite writers in
Right.
horror. Wrote so much great stuff like Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor, Midnight Mass, which is an annual Halloween watch for me, Hush,
Yeah.
and also directed Doctor Sleep, which I think is like one or two on my favorites of 2019.
I am so glad you mentioned Doctor Sleep. That is like to me one of the most underrated movies of like the last several years. And you're absolutely right about all of his other previous work. Flanagan is just a generational level talent in the horror sphere.
Mhm. And directed by James Thomas Watkins, who directed Eden Lake back in 2008. Also directed
Oh,
the Speak No Evil remake, which is a movie that
oh,
should not be as good as it is. And also
yeah. That
probably the most horrifying thing he's directed, and also something with a questionable protagonist. He directed the Shut Up and Dance episode of Black Mirror.
Okay. This director really knows his stuff because, like, all those things are really nasty and uncomfortable and, like, really work on a visceral level. So, this could be really good.
Yeah, this is just off the resume of the people behind the camera, casting an actor with Tom Reese Harris, who has the look for that kind of like classic Hollywood star. I haven't seen him in much. He's more of a newer face as far as Hollywood goes, and I like that.
Yeah, and Naomi Ackie, I know, is in this movie, and
Mhm.
she's always a terrific actress to watch. So it definitely seems like they have the talent behind and in front of the camera to really like give this a good movie.
Yeah, and yeah, I can't wait. And releasing it in October, this is like, okay, the gun might not be fully jammed yet.
Right. One last thought, like, I do like how, like, in a weird way, this kind of is following the Blade model where, like, unless
Mhm,
you were like a where, like, all the marketing, you could completely ignore the DC branding and treat this
mhm.
as this totally separate horror film, and it works totally just as well. And I really
Yeah,
like sort of that whole branding that they're doing with
yeah,
this.
that's something I really liked about the what we're seeing in the marketing on this, because if they didn't put the DC Studios logo like front and center on the trailer, if you could like look at the posters that's in theaters, it's like barely visible DC Studios above the title card. And I like that. That's like a little bit of cleverness, because you get the horror audience as well, because, this movie looks fucking sick, but you also get
Uh-huh.
the hardcore DC Comics audience. And maybe maybe you get some crossover with those two audiences. Maybe you get some, some back and forth. Maybe, something really cool happens that it brings a bigger audience to Clayface.
Well, the same thing happened with Joker and the Penguin TV show. I mean, they didn't really outright say, "Hey guys, look, it's a Batman villain, so look at this stuff." They just made really sick stuff, and the people came.
Yeah, really great, compelling, art. At least with the Penguin, Joker is a movie I really dislike the more I think about and revisit it.
Yeah, we'll talk about Joker another day because that's a whole other tangent to go on. But the point being, it works.
I have a lot of similar thoughts about Todd Phillips that I do about Uwe Boll. Let me put it that way.
But the point being, the marketing ideas both work for Joker and Penguin, and I'm sure, and hopefully it'll work for Clayface as well.
And just having that horror angle, have it be something that's fresh and different in a subgenre that often feels very, very cookie cutter.
Well, and the other thing is, I'm just thinking out loud, I can't really think of many horror films that are coming out this Halloween, because like the first half of this year is super front loaded with, generational level runs of horror films, yet actual Halloween season, unless there's like a Saw or a Paranormal Activity movie that I'm missing.
I think there's another Paranormal Activity. I think there's another Insidious film coming out later this year.
Okay.
There's some other franchise horror that I think is gonna have some entries, but nothing's really standing out. Nothing that's gonna top, I think, anything that came out in the front half of the year.
Hopefully Clayface makes a strong case for itself later this year then.